Are you recording? You recording? Okay, good. This is circular saw test out. And we're doing a rip cut. Minimum of 4 feet. And we're gonna take 1.5 inches off of a board. So a sheet of plywood. So first thing we have to do is find some material. In this case, we've got a sheet that was leaning up in there. I'll have some pieces laying out that we're okay with sacrificing, okay? We don't wanna cut up really good stuff, but we gotta learn. That costs money, okay? I've got a sheet of 3/4 inch 5-ply here with a factory edge. And factory edge, I can just, by looking at it, I know this is one of the outside edges from the factory of the material, okay? You're going to pull from an edge, measure the overall width of the board. So in this case, I've got 18.5 inches. You're gonna subtract 1.5 inches off of that. I'm gonna write 18.4 here, carpentry notation, or 18.5 inches. That's what I've got currently. I'm going to mark my 1.5 inches that I'm gonna take off, and because I'm snapping a line, I'll slide down here a little bit. 17, come down on this end, mark 17 as well. Get this guy out of the way for now. Chalk line, I want to tag through my mark. So that means I'm going to line this up and make sure that my chalk line is going right down the center of that, or tailing through the mark. That's another way we can reference that. Pin it on my other mark down here, snap it. I'm on low sawhorses. These sawhorses are really nice for ripping. I want to make sure that I can be above the material. I also want to make sure that I can either overhang or I can cut through the top of the sawhorse. If I'm going to do this, this is the most stable way, but I better make sure that my depth of my saw blade is set correctly. I don't want to rip through the top of these any more than I have to. So, to check depth of saw blade, for safety's sake, I'm going to tell you to unplug every time you check saw blade depth, okay? My hand is around the trigger, so I want to be cautious of that. Pull the blade gut out of the way. I'm a little deep here anyway, so I'll loosen that. I'm gonna go up till I'm just through the material, 1/8 inch. Lock that in on the back side here. My depth control, and then I can plug back in. Okay, where I'm looking on here, I always want to keep an eye on my bed guide and where that meets the line. I'm not so concerned with the blade. The blade's gonna do its thing. I don't even have to look at it, okay? Start the saw, let it come up to speed. I'm gonna run it all the way through. Stop here just to show you can. My cord is dragging behind. Naturally, what I was thinking of is, oh, I need to grab that and sweep it out over the side. So I can hold my cord out here with my second hand, start the saw back up. I had a little bit of an issue with blade depth, a little shallow, and actually the material's really swollen here. You can see, look at this layer. It just blew up. It's like a double layer in there. So not necessarily my fault on the setting. What I'm looking for here is this. I want you to look down the edge and have somebody take a picture of you. I'm looking for less than 1/8 inch of waving, okay? I should be able to mark my edge. Where did my marks go? Here we go. Got to piece it back together. So that was my initial. I took 1.5 inches off. The photo that I want is that right there. I took 1.5 inches off. I've got 17 inches remaining. This is what I started with. And hey, you might as well put your initials on it too. Okay. And then so that's one, and then I need this one as well. The edge that you ripped. We got this one, right? Second photo right here. When you're done, let's just take a look at how we did. This is blade depth right here. So we came through, very minimally affected the sawhorses, okay? If you're comfortable and you've got a good sheet of material, you can definitely overhang. You don't have to rip through the sawhorses. You just don't want to cut them up. You can see here, We got some decent cuts. We don't want to cut them up more than we have to. Okay. Scene.